This podcast is sponsored by the Faraday Battery Challenge, which aims to support world-class scientific, technology development and manufacturing scale-up capability for batteries in the UK.
The challenge is focused on developing cost-effective, high-performance, durable, safe and recyclable batteries to support the EV market. If you want to find out more, make sure to go to www.faraday.ac.uk. Welcome to the See Me Be Me podcast. I'm Nile Henry.
And I'm Blair Henry.
And we're two brothers who set out on a mission to make motorsport and STEM careers more diverse, affordable, and inclusive. We are the founders of the Blair Project.
This podcast series delves into the minds of inspirational individuals who come from ordinary and often humble backgrounds, but through their belief, dogged determination, and never give up attitude, have managed to overcome academic, social, or mental challenges to achieve their dream careers.
Our guests will share their life lessons that you too can apply to your own. We hope their stories will inspire you to go further, aim higher, and accept nothing less than you deserve. Your ambition, your purpose is all within, and we're here to help you unlock it. The planet of possibilities are endless.
You know who made it.
So, on today's episode, we'll be speaking to Paulette Watson, MBA. Paulette is advocating for no one to be left behind in the digital fourth revolution. Her focus is women and, in particular, Black and people of colour. Today, we'll be discussing Paulette's journey as an entrepreneur and business owner in driving change in the science and tech space in the UK as well as Ghana. We will also be discussing her mission to empower girls and women to start Web3 and STEM-related jobs. She leads Academy Achievers, STEM Academy Achievers Ghana, and the Be Me Digital Inclusion Programme, aiming to address the disparities around gender and inequality in the tech space by bringing 1 million women into the space by 2030. Now, let's get straight into today's episode.
Welcome to the See Me Be Me podcast, Paulette.
Hello.
Excellent. So, can you tell us who you are, where you come from, and how did you get started in the world of being an entrepreneur and a leader in the Industry 4.0 tech space?
Sure. My name is Paulette Watson. I'm a global tech disruptor, managing director for Academy Achievers. We work with children and young people who are disaffected, disadvantaged, and experience real trauma and come from marginalized communities. And we specialize in science, technology, engineering, and math, and also Web3 activities. I got into STEM really into tech really because my daughter. So I got it from a very, very early age. My father inspired me. He was my role model. He was a mathematician, plus he was an engineer. And Henry, I absolutely adored. And my dad was my biggest hero, yeah. And I just loved tech. I loved science and I loved maths, okay? Even though, like, when Dad used to ask us about our times table, I used to get really, really scared. I'm like, oh my God, you don't know it. But it's something that as a child, when we used to do like problem solving and Dad used to give us riddles, it was something that I really wanted to be able to solve a problem. And that's what really, sparked my interest. And then at school, I realized that I've always loved computers. I was always in the computer room. And remember, well, my age, you're a bit younger than me, but I remember when I was at schools in the 80s and we had these massive computers, like going into these rooms. I'm like, oh my God, they're so big, they're bigger than me. But I was like intrigued by it. And then I loved business studies, even though my business studies teacher told me that I'd work in Woolworths, but that's a story for another time. And because I wanted to do so much in tech and computing at the time, I really wanted and having the aspirations from my father, and then falling. I got the opportunity to go to university, but I fell pregnant, and I got a job within one of the international banking, dealing with doing a lot of work with foreign exchange, money marketing, contract, and also doing some analysis involving like data science and computing. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. But being a mum at the time, a single parent mum, I just couldn't handle the pressures of the boys. They used to go to the pubs, hang out, and I couldn't do that. So what that did, that led me to set up the Academy Achievers, having Simone at a very, very young age, I knew that I was coming on late. And even though I enjoyed my job, I just couldn't be that mum and be there for my child. So what that did, I'm going on and on, but what that did is made me go on to become her teacher, a computer science teacher, to be able to support my passion in computing. And then that's when the Academy Achievers was birthed.
Mike, just following on from what you were saying, Paula, about you work with Academy Achievers. What makes you passionate about what you do?
Okay, so firstly, my father, because he was such an influential and key person in our lives. Yeah. Secondly, having my daughter and seeing that the challenges, one, as a Black woman, I didn't want my daughter to go through that. So being her role model, her teacher, her friend, her mentor, I recognized that even though I was in her life and I was able to empower her, and she did exceptionally well because she saw what good looked like. She saw that I did my master's in computing, and she saw that I did my MBA, and she was able to replicate that and not have that issue to deal with, imposter syndrome, because she saw representation throughout the family. So my passion is this. I am my daughter's role model. My daughter is very, very successful because she saw representation of me. The BME Digital Inclusion aims to raise 1 million Black women and girls aspiration in STEM and web-related careers. You know, and I know about the digital skills gap. We want to close that. And we know that Black women are, especially from COVID, we are impacted further. We were impacted before. We're disadvantaged. The inequality was there before. So my passion rises from the fact that I'm a Black woman. I've been through this systemic racism, especially when you look through the lens of intersectionality, my disability, my gender, my race, my religion. I mean, I could go on and on. And then you look at the issues around the wealth gap, the payment gap, the earnings gap, the educational investment gap. I mean, mental health, housing gap. Black women are at the bottom. So that's where my passion comes from, Blair. My passion is, I don't want another Black girl to go through this. I'm creating a 500 years legacy, where we are included. You understand, in terms of the World Economic Forum, they're going to create 295 million AI robotic jobs. Because of COVID, Black women have been displaced. We cannot be left behind. And that's why the BME Digital Inclusion aims to readdress that. We offer different programs and projects. I'm sure you're going to probably ask me about that, but that is where my passion comes from. We are not getting left behind.
I did want to ask about the BME, the Digital Inclusion Program. It's just very interesting. It's over 1 million Black girls, was it?
Well, that's it. Well, it's 1 million, but we take that over 1 million, definitely, because it's needed. And what that looks at is developing women in terms of their training, the technical training, right, Blair? But it's not just about teaching them how to, they learn how to do, to create a website, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python. But with my background as a computer science, I don't want my women just to code. I want them to be the one to develop the algorithm, so we can disrupt the oppressive algorithms. That's why they call me the disruptor in AI. Okay, we understand the challenges, the unconscious, the unrealistic, but no, I want them at the design. I want them to design it. I want them to write the AI code so it does not discriminate against them. Okay, so once we have that, the technical aspect of it, we get them to do projects, because a lot of these, there's a lot of programs going on where they're doing the training, but what's happening, they're still not getting the job. So there's still a gap. Whereas we have a really good relationship with our tech partners, and we are, teaching our girls to develop their programs. But like I said, the technical aspect, we've got that right. But in terms of our mentoring, we are supporting them in terms of a holistic approach. Now, my girls see me, I'm a Black woman, okay? And I'm talking about the challenges. A lot of the girls, we grew up in church. A lot of the girls we come from the Caribbean community. We talk a certain way. There's certain mannerism that we have that they recognize that. So when they see me and they see, well, that's what my mom does, that's what my grandmother does, it's relatable. And any problems that we have in terms of trying to solve climate change, we localize it so they understand it. We've just done a project with KPMG where the girls went to the offices and we did something on ESG. Girls were like, Paulette, what's ESG? come on, do some research.
Yeah.
They did that and they got involved with the conversation. We had a fantastic time. So we're getting them involved. We're dealing with, like I said, the holistic approach. So technical, mental health. We're dealing with them in terms of how do they develop their soft skills. We'll say it's transferable, communicating, listening, being respectful, being tolerant. Okay, there's people that we're different. Okay, how do you understand and how do you ask questions? How do you make people feel inclusive? Because I'm different, because I'm a Black person, or I could have my sexuality could be different to yours. What does that mean? We have to learn to be tolerant. We have to be digital citizens. We have to be respectable. We have to ensure that no one feels unwelcome. We have to create a safe environment. So that's what our Be Me program is about. It's building our community. Yeah, it's making everyone be co-designers. So it's not just Paulette writing this by myself. I'm working with my young women, working with their mums, I'm working with their dad, right? I also got white men who are supporting me 100%. They're backing me. Okay, I got white women that I support because they understand the call. This is a call that we have to work collaboratively to create a collective impact.
And when you're speaking to, let's say, some of these young Black girls, when they're beginning, let's say, their journeys in terms of wanting to go into careers within STEM, do a lot of them, do they almost, because, with the way things are at the moment, they're not a lot of younger Black people are encouraged to go into careers within STEM. So does it take, a lot of, well, not necessarily like convincing, but is it hard to get them into that stage in terms of wanting a career in STEM, or are you finding more young Black girls are now more motivated to go into this as a career path?
Excellent question. So just to give you a background context of this, when I used to teach computing science, around I became qualified in 2003, my girls were getting A's and A stars. So I don't know what happened from when they left me to go to college to go. I'm trying to understand. So now that I'm doing this Be Me Digital Inclusion program, I'm talking to some of the girls. They're like the same, Miss, we've never heard of STEM. That's what you're talking about. Miss, don't know what it is. So when I go in there, what I do, I personalize what STEM is. Yeah. I ask them, what is it that they want to get involved? Well, I don't want to give you too much of my secrets, but I use my teaching techniques and I use me as a person to try and make them understand that STEM is not separate. It underpins society. It underpins our everyday lives. And when I explain that to them with my stories and the resources that I have, the girl says, okay. So we go in and they don't know what STEM is. By the end of the day, they know what STEM is. And a lot of them want to do AI. A lot of them want to be a bioengineer. A lot of them want to get to chemical engineering. A lot of them want to go into constructions. A lot of them want to build bridges. They're like, Miss, we didn't know all this. We didn't understand. You just made it more simpler. Like, even though we know that, a lot of them saying that Web3 is dead, I disagree. But when I started to explain to them what the metaverse was, what NFTs were, what Ethereum was, what smart contract, they were like, Miss, we didn't get it, but we do. And I explained to them about an avatar, how they can make money. They're like, we've got a letter saying, Miss, when you came, we thought you just come to do another boring old Black History Month talk. But when you spoke about the Web3 and how we can get involved and how we are the future, he said, so I may never get into tech, but I tell you what, Miss, what you did, you sparked something in me, and I want to set up my own business. I want to become an entrepreneur. So it's down to the person that's delivering it. Okay, I have a passion. I've created a culture that no matter what, our girls are not getting left behind, and they are going to get involved one way or the other. It's not rocket science. They will get involved, but it's how they're going to get involved. Yeah, and we need all hands on deck, as Michelle Obama said, because I can't do this inside. I cannot do it alone. Yeah, I have to work with you guys. I have to understand your perspective so you could talk to my girls. Yeah, because you may look at it differently from me, and they may like, I like the way Blair said, I like the way Nile said it. Let's have a look at it that way. It may work, it may not. So what? We learn from it and we move on, and that's how we're approaching it. Nobody is perfect.
Well, no, what you just said echoes the Blair Project's statement. Like, we have a saying that no one person can create success on their own. It takes a winning team and helping hands, and it's that spirit of collaboration. And also, we had a mini chat offline about, talk about Africa, and it's especially that Rwanda is like it's a tech booming
Tech booming,
country.
yes.
Yeah, and I suppose I've got two questions. The next question would be: is there a difference with the training programs that you deliver to young Black girls here compared to, delivering those tech programs out in Ghana or Rwanda? Is there a major difference in terms of the girls that you're training? And then I suppose, one that the audience might want to hear is, what does an average day look like for Paulette Watson?
God, that's a very good. I mean, your questions are on fire today. So let me just take the first one. It's interesting now regarding the African continent, the young people there. They are phenomenal. I don't know what to say. The talent is, when someone is so talented, you're like, wow. Your brain starts to think. Well, I could just imagine the Blair Project, like, what is this? You'd be like booming. That's how it is in Africa, especially in Ghana. And so the programs are tailor made, so it's personalized. That's why I know you guys. I understand that we will probably speak singing from the same hymn sheet because you get it, yeah. And that's why you asked that question. So some of the programs has to be tweaked only because of we live in a different climate, we live in a different environment. It's different. The attitudes are different, so we have to tailor make it to them, or because they don't really understand the culture back in the UK, and the UK wouldn't understand, and I think that would be unfair to expect them to do that. I think if they understand, if we create something, our program is created, and they're able to thrive because what they're good at solving problems. Yeah, especially around green technology, especially around climate. They've just got the knack. I mean, Africa, they're booming in the tech. I mean, they are absolutely booming. Okay, they really are. They've been VC contribution, and they're doing exceptionally well. I'm doing a keynote speech about looking at digital sustainability and the future of work for young Ghanaians, and what I'm seeing is mind blowing. So, what does my day look like? Thank God for my team. I have an executive assistant. I have a PA. I have a coordinator. I have a program manager. I have an operations director. We are growing. I have STEM. We are growing, and we're having people coming saying, "Paulette, how can I get involved?" And I'm like, I don't know, but they're all answering to the call. Like Black women saying, it's like an army. Black women saying, "No, how can we help? What do you need?" And I'm looking at them. And I'm saying, first of all, I'm apologizing if I don't get back to them. I just apologize. I said, listen, if I don't get back to you, but Black women are saying, how can I? And let me just add, when we did our Be Me, the pilot run, it was white men who were mentors. And it was interesting because the white man was saying, Paulette, it's like, we don't know what to do. I said, you do. We're going to train you. And when they done the mentoring, if you saw how the girls were so, at first the girls were like, really? We don't want to do this. They didn't want to do it. But when they got and they started to listen to the journeys of these mentors, it was so nice to see how they bond, and they were like, they really got on. But this time around, we've got more Black women who are saying, we want to be part of building this. Okay, I know, right? And I think it's very, very important. It's very important to have, Black women helping to build this, because a lot of them saying, "Oh, we don't have tech experiences." It's not about that. Some of you are leaders. You have strategic experience. You have financial. You have risk management. You're good communicators. Some of you are good at writing pitch deck. You're entrepreneurs. All that contributes to building this ecosystem. So that's the day in my life. I mean, I get up. I go to the gym. I get up. I do have Mondays and Wednesdays off, and it's really about developing a strategic plan. We're currently doing our AI strategic plan. I do a lot of speaking engagements, and we do a lot of onboarding. That helps, continuous training, and we find that really beneficial. And we're up to date, and we use all the digital tools, and it's really efficient. And we're growing. We're online.
Excellent. And I suppose this is a controversial topic in question. You mentioned AI. Is it going to be a good thing, or is it going to be a concern for society?
If we use it ethically, it can be a very good thing. Yeah. And we've got the right actors. So that's why the Be Me is creating the right actors to be the one to create the algorithmic code. If they create it, then it will be fair. It will be fairer. It can't just be one particular group of people controlling that. So If it is, then it's a big concern, because what's going to happen is going to reproduce the same inequalities, same discrimination that we've been experiencing for the last 100 or 200 years. So unless we have the right players and the right actors, then it's ethical, and I'm happy about that.
I wanted to ask a question there, Paula. Might be a bit more of a personal one, but I mean, I'm really inspired by like story and like influencing like young black women. But we all in the UK, we always hear about like organizations, you know, talking about diversity and inclusion. But from my personal view, I think more can be done to bring like more people from diverse backgrounds into work, into careers within the UK and get like more black people involved. But my question to you would be, what advice would you give to like organizations that are looking to improve on their like diverse workforce?
So my advice would really be is set up around like a resource group where you're like a committee where we have the right people, like I said, the right actors there. It can't be an imbalance. You do need women that look like the people that you want to make that safe place. Okay. So my advice is, and I've written my book. I finished it on Sunday, and it gives you some recommendation. And in the book, it basically says that having the correct actors, like the co-designers, to hear about in terms of understand their culture. Yeah, because we know that the organization has a business culture, but how does that align with the people that are working with you? So let me give you an example. When I used to work in a school, it was particularly predominantly a Muslim community. And something as simple as this, and I adopted it for my organization, was in the toilets, they have the thing where you can, from the Muslim, they don't use, when you're on toilet, you've got the water, the abidi. Yeah. And they had incorporated that in all of the toilets. I just thought that was magnificent. I just thought, wow. And they had their own personal space. Yeah. And then when I did my event, when I was to do our community event, I made sure that because we were based in Newham, that our staff had a lot of, they had the opportunity to just go and pray. So we set up a room where they were able to pray because we listened to our staff. So that's what I would say to corporates is being able to listen to their staff, understand who's in their work, who's in their organization.
Yeah.
What are the challenges? Some of the women that attend may have young children. Okay, so that may cause them to work late. That may have an impact because they're coming late. With women, we like to panic when we're late because we like to be on time. I would also suggest with organizations to make sure that they have training to ensure that women feel that they are being updated, having more representation of role models or Black women in particular roles, make sure that their leadership team is balanced to represent the workforce. So it can't be too top heavy, making sure that any issues to do with microaggression is stamped out. What does that look like? Have difficult conversations. All of the tech partners that we work with, we have difficult conversations and we understand each other. Okay. We really do understand, and it's easier for us to just move forward. For grassroots organizations and for schools, what we do, we support in terms of talking about hair discrimination. Yeah, and look at how we can help them in terms of create or rewrite their policies, because a lot of the young Black girls especially don't feel included. They feel that they're being bullied or victimized when it comes to their hair. For the grassroots community groups, what we do, we offer training and we look at, okay, what does the D&I policy look like? How can we ensure that it fits each of our different communities? So where we are based, some of us may be in Newham, we could be in Lewisham, we could be in Enfield. There's so many different people in different communities, especially at Newham. It's a diverse community. There's so many different people that we have to make sure that we cater for. So we have to have that representation on our board or within our community, within our committees, to make sure that we hear what the challenges are and incorporate into our policies so they can feel included. And that's what I recommend to our corporates, schools and communities.
Excellent. And this is a very interesting one. How was it in terms of your journey from starting out in the software development world to then becoming an entrepreneur and now managing a team of people? How was it for you, that transition of being solely just tech, coding, whatever, software focused, to then, being a business leader? Because it's like almost two separate things.
Absolutely. Nile, it was a challenge. Being a single black parent mother, with microaggression, my hair in locks, not being accepted. I had to take on voluntary opportunities. I was a NED, I was a director, I was a vice chair for a council dealing with D&I. I had to be picking up my daughter back and forth. I was always a person, they say I had the gift of the gab because I would talk for Britain, but it was a challenge. And every time I met up with conflict, and it's like, how do I deal with that? And it was hard. And I write about this in my book. I write about every single place that I worked at, every experiences. I've documented it. How did I overcome it? Really persevered. I realized that failure only occurs when you give up. And I didn't get to where I am because of nepotism. I failed. I fell on my face, but I just got back up. And I did everything. I remember I got a job in an organization as a NED. It's the only NED job, so you can get the name if you want to. And I remember the chair said to me, he interviewed me 5 times. And he said to me, Paulette, this is what he said. He goes, you are a jack of all trade, master of none. And I replied, I said, the reason why I'm the jack of all trade, because I never got the opportunity. I had to learn everything to be able to support and build my empire, because I never got access. And because of that, at first he made it seem like it was a bad thing, but actually now they're telling people that we do need to have an idea of everything in order to be successful. And because I know about finance, I sat as a chair, I know about D&I know about the tech, I know how to be an entrepreneur, I know how to write pitch deck, I understand about the market value, the TAM, the SOM and the SAM. I get it. I know everything. Onboarding, I understand it now. And because I understand it, I'm able to get the right players to support me, and they can't put the wool over my eye. I understand about social media. I did a course in everything because I just didn't get access. And that's how I'm able to juggle being an entrepreneur, being a managing director of a whole organization, because the two, I'm like, Paula, you're crazy. How are you managing to in terms of the interrelation, to be able to be a managing director, the other be an entrepreneur, doing funding application. I was doing funding applications out of my ears. I mean, I went to community leaders to say, how are you doing this? Then I just said, let's do this. Let's try corporate. And corporate has seemed a bit more better. And now we're looking at income generation, because we've decided that actually, if they decide not to give us no money, we want to be sustainable. And that's what we're looking at, is being sustainable.
I see on your like LinkedIn, you've had a lot of success recently, Paul. I've seen as well as you've been nominated for plenty of awards and actually won plenty of awards. What are some of these awards that you've won recently within the last couple of years?
I've won the first one I won was the Wintrade Award for Women in Engineering. I'm like, what? You can win awards for all the work that you've done. I'm like, okay, this is really cool. Then I won the Red Bull Amapico mentoring program. I'm like, really? And then I won the KPMG Black Entrepreneur Award. And that was outstanding. I think you guys won some. I think you got through as well. But that was outstanding because of the mentoring, and the cash prize was really, really, really good. So that just opened even more doors. I've just won recently the Global Award for Women Changing Lives. So I'm really pleased for that, entrepreneurial. I've won another one. Oh my gosh. I've won quite a few. Oh my gosh, I can't remember them all, but I've won quite a few awards, and it's been quite. I've also just won the IT Professional Leadership in UK, just being recognised as one of the 100 professional. So that's really, really good. I've got about 10 nominations for different programs, for different awards, which I'm happy about. We're going to be doing our own awards now, because I think I've got to pass the baton on. I keep winning all these awards, but these awards really just giving us access. So I've proven myself. I think now it's fair to let someone else win. What do you think? Really, like, I keep winning. Just give it to someone else. So I'm going to be pushing more of the girls to apply for it.
Yeah, it sounds like your business is going from strength to strength each year, just getting more and more successful. But I wanted to just ask, in terms of, let's say, the next 5 or 10 years, in terms of it, I guess, leaving a legacy behind, how would you How would you like people to remember Paulette Watson?
So the program ends 2030 because it
Yeah,
relates to the Sustainable Development Goals.
yeah,
The legacy I want people to remember me for is the disruptor in tech. That I didn't allow it to be like a wall to be covered over our eyes,
yeah,
and for us to just skate through just learning the basic of tech. I want us to be the disruptors moving forward. So I want people to remember me as the woman that Paulette wasn't playing. She went in deep. She wanted the young people not to just play the games, but to create the games. So that's how I wanted to remember it. And that I was able to close the digital skills gap, but from a holistic approach, the wealth gap, the earning gap, educational achievement gap, health, housing gaps, mental health, all those gaps. I wanted to be able to say that because she disrupted the play level field, she created a pipeline of Black women talent and also boys because it's inclusive.
yeah, yeah. It's just that story of hard work and perseverance. So
Yeah, and this one's a kind of another personal one, but I'm sure for any of the audience out there who are entrepreneurs or maybe one day want to go about setting up their own business, on that journey there's highs, but there can be a lot of lows as well. So especially
Mhm.
when the lows happen, what gives you the motivation to keep going during the hard times?
Well, really, that failure only occurs when you give up. But it's okay when things are not working out. It's fine. It just gets me back to the drawing board, and I just look at delivering differently. But what it does, it teaches me a lesson. Okay, because no one's perfect, and it'd be boring if we had a world that was perfect. I think what I do like now, I like the uncertainties because I like to prepare for them. And our organization, we have developed an appetite for risk. So it's okay, it's okay, but we plan in advance for these risks to try and mitigate it. So what I would tell any person or entrepreneur starting out is this: plan for the uncertainties. Make sure that anything you've got your financial plan as well. Have money. I would say anybody, make sure you've got a large sum of money, bootstrap. To do that before you start setting up your business and have a plan on how you're going to spend that. And then once you've got that 12 to 24-month plan, then you can look at how do we start planning to get more money, or how are we going to create an income generation plan, or we're going to get money from corporate or fundraising, how are we going to do that? But start with money with some financial backing first before you start with zero, because that's when it gets a lot difficult.
Completely agree. Completely agree. And if we could transport you back in time and you could talk to 7-year-old Paulette Watson, what piece of advice would you give her?
Just be you. Just be. Just be. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't think I'll change anything because I had a fantastic upbringing. Um, I was very, very outspoken. When Miss Shipman told me that I'm going to work for Woolworths, I said, "No, I'm not. I'm going to be a judge." And I'm glad I wasn't a judge. I'm glad. I'm glad that I've taken this route because it's fun. Can you imagine now working for yourself and not having to deal with the nonsense at work? This is fun. Being able to look, our whole world has changed. We
yeah,
could work when we want, how we want. Look, we could do podcast interviews. I'm halfway across the world and I'm talking to you like I'm in the same room. I mean, I would say to my younger self, just be you. Go out there and play in the park. Go out there, just laugh, belly laugh, and just be mischievous. That's what I would tell myself. But I would also say, have a plan as well. I'll definitely say have
yeah,
a health plan. Yeah, know what you're eating. Make sure you understand. You save a bit more. Even though I am good at saving and invest. I would probably have more of a career plan of how to get access to certain things. Yeah, and definitely would have said I like reading, but I like reading. I remember my aunt she used to read Mills and Boons. I didn't understand that, but I did like the American books and things on teenager love. I still love all those stuff. But now I read a lot of self-help books. I listen to a lot of Miles Monroe, Les Brown. Um, there's so much that I listen to that on a daily basis. I write in my journal every single day. I have a really good network of leaders. I've got a really good team, social team. So friends is key. My family, I love to bits. I love my daughter. Love God. I love social butterfly. So yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So now we're coming to the final part of the show, Paulette. We're going to the bonus questions. So 3 fun questions. One of them I do judge my guests on, and we're going to go straight into that first question. So does pineapple belong on a pizza? Yes or no?
Why not? Yes. Yeah. That was lovely.
Paulette, this interview was going, this podcast was going so well.
No, wait, I tell you my answer. Listen. So I'm going by the Ghanaian pineapple. Now their pineapple is awesome. Absolutely scrumptious, I'm telling you. So yes, so if you try that, you understand my reasoning. That's why I said I agree.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to purchase a flight out to Ghana just to try a pineapple on a pizza. Okay, it best be worth it. Right. Okay. Second one. Oh, I'll be sending receipts if it's not great. Right. If you could throw a dinner party tonight or tomorrow, and you can invite 4 people, dead or alive, who would you invite?
My dad.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter. And 2 of my close friends. Do I have to give you names?
No, you don't have to give a name, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want
my
to,
dad,
you can.
Yeah, my dad, he passed away 4 years ago. My daughter, my sister, Rosalie, and 2 of my friends, close friends.
And then the final one is, if you could have a special ability or a superpower, which one would you choose?
It's a really good one. If I could, what would that be? To be able to multitask 100 times faster than what I'm doing now. That would be my superpower. I would be a ChatGPT or Threads. I would be one of them and be able to just do all these tasks at once. That would be my superpower.
But then you'd have 1 billion people. You'd have 1 billion people coming up to Paulette Watson asking her questions to tasks. Would you want that?
No, asking me. No, let me just put it, not asking me, but being able to do the task. You understand?
Oh, being able to do it.
I would be able to do the task for myself. Yeah. That's what I would love. That would be a superpower.
I think you'd be a trillionaire in 2 days.
Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. No, this is serious. Can you imagine? Oh, wow.
Oh, brilliant. You know what? This has been a really great episode. Thank you so much, Paulette, for being a guest on the See Me Be Me podcast. And if people listening to this want to find out more about you or follow you on any social channels, where can they go to follow you on your journey or find out more about Academy Achievers?
Absolutely. Thank you. So let me start with Academy Achievers. You can go to our website, which is academyachievers.io. Really happy about that. So it's a new website. Or you can go to our Instagram, just type in Academy Achievers, Facebook, Academy Achievers 25. If you go to Twitter, Academy Achievers, and LinkedIn. So those are the 5 key for Academy Achievers. So please come and visit us, comment, like, or if you want to just say hi to me, LinkedIn, Paulette Watson, MBA, and LinkedIn or my Instagram.
But don't forget to plug the book. So what's the book called and when can people get it?
Okay, so I haven't got the name of the book, but it's coming out in September. It's coming out in September. But the book, oh gosh, it took me 18 months to do. Can you imagine? 18 months. And it was the hardest because I was every weekend literally writing a chapter. It's been sent back and I had to edit it. But it talks about my personal life journey. It talks about the state of STEM, how to encourage more Black women and girls into the industry. It talks about STEM education, talks about health, talks about smart cities. It talks about my personal journey in terms of the microaggressions I felt, especially in education and in the financial sector. Also, it talks about how do we move forward with AI? Okay, how is it disruptive? Exactly what the question that you asked. I talk about it from an ethical point of view, and I talk about how it can be harmful. So I'm really excited about my book because it has been AI since 2005, and it's something that I've been really talking about. And literally everything that's happening now, I'm like, I spoke about this, and it's interesting to see the book that was written 18 months ago and all the discussions. It's I was too early. And I think that's where the struggle came by. And but now the book is timely, and it really talks about from a perspective of a Black woman. So when a Black woman reads it, she'd be able to say, actually, I can do this. I'm not afraid. I'm going to step forward because she did it.
Brilliant.
She looks like me. I can do it. I'm the representation. I am the role model. But the name, if you've got any suggestions for names, yeah, give me a name. But I'm excited about that journey. But apparently it won't take 18 months to come up with a name. But I will let you know. I will email.
Well, that's a challenge. That's also a challenge for the audience. If they like to come up with a name for Paulette's book, make sure to reach out to her on Academy Achievers across socials, or do connect with her on LinkedIn. But no, again, I just want to reiterate, thank you, Paulette, for being a guest on the CMBB, and stay tuned. I'm sure we're going to have her on the podcast some other time as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nile,
Blair, thank you. Take care and all the best.
Thanks,
It's been a
Paulette.
pleasure. All right,
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
Thanks, Paul.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Wow, what an episode, guys. I found Paulette's story like really inspiring, and I feel that it mirrors myself and Niall's journey with the Blair Project, as there's many similarities. Like, for example, as Black people in STEM, you don't really see like many people from your race and background who are in careers such as like science and technology. And it's almost that perception that you have sometimes where if you don't see many people of your own race and background who are excelling at a certain area, you then start to have almost like self-doubts like, is this an area for me? Is this something that I can excel in? Or is this the right career path for me to go down? I mean, I was really inspired by Paulette and how she mentions her goals and aims with the BME project and looking to get more young Black girls into the tech space. And it really similar to the Blair Project's programs with Planet Possibility, and also with what we're doing with Pro to EV STEM Challenge, with using activities to get more young people from BAME backgrounds to pursue careers within STEM. And just hearing that Paulette's the start of a journey where she used to teach computer science all the way to her becoming an entrepreneur and starting her own business with Academy Achievers. And just also, I like how she mentioned like the importance of role models in shaping like young people for success, because some young people, if they've not got the either from their parents or even if they're like teachers, if they don't have that person who's pushing them to be like successful or even pushing them to be the best versions of themselves, that they won't have the mindset to think that this is something that I can excel in, or whether they can excel in anything in general. It's just the importance of having someone who just truly believes in you and just gives you that extra push to think that this is something that you can excel in yourself. Paulette also mentioned about the microaggressions that she's faced on her journey as well, and just being, being a Black woman, and like how just even wearing your hair, braiding your hair up and whatnot, it can almost have like, there's different like microaggressions and perceptions from people in the UK that that's not the norm. And now she's had to, face all those like prejudices during her career, and how that's just not stopped her. So it doesn't matter what hurdles that has come her way. She just says you have to just keep going and going and going. And also, it's just one of the things that she mentioned is that you never truly fail at something unless you give up. So you sometimes in life, let's say myself and Niall, when we're doing the Blair Project, there'll be some times where things go well, and there's things sometimes where things don't go so well. But and I guess it's true that the success in life is all about hard work and perseverance. So it doesn't matter how bad things get, you just have to keep on going. You have to keep on persevering. And I found that really inspirational from Paulette, that no matter how hard things get, you just have to keep pushing. You just have to keep going, stay positive, and whatever it is that you're working towards will eventually come true. And then as well with Paulette, time and time again, she's managed to like rise like above the odds against adversity. And as well, it's just along her journey, she's managed to open doors for many young Black women to pursue careers in STEM related jobs, and then overall change those perceptions, and just work with those young Black girls at a grassroots level, and just change the perceptions, and just say to them that, you know what, this is a career path that's for you, and if you're really interested in like getting involved, there's no reason why you can't excel like anyone else can. Honestly, today it was great to have Paulette on the podcast, and I think it would be really great in the future if we could have Paulette join us again, maybe in like a year or 2 years' time, as a follow up to see where everything in terms of Academy Achievers, where everything's going, and her future steps and whatnot. But please do make sure to follow Paulette's journey on Academy Achievers on her social media platforms. And finally, just before we wrap up, if you enjoyed today's episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. We're across all major social media platforms, so you can listen to us on Apple Music and Spotify. You can follow us as well on our Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at The Blair Project. And you can also follow us on our Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Get Me Motoring. And just final message from myself. Thank you all for listening, and until next time, peace out.
If you've liked today's episode, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. The Blair Project is on all major social media platforms, including Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube at The Blair Project. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Yes, we are on TikTok at Get Me Motoring. If you'd like to follow myself individually, I am on Instagram at Nile Henry, and also LinkedIn at Nile Henry as well.
And if you want to follow myself, I'm on Instagram as BlairHenry_97, and also on LinkedIn as just Blair Henry.
So we look forward to having you on the next episode. So stay tuned. Take care.
Until next time.